Blanca Lopez, co-chair of the Joint Metro North Long Island Committee's meeting. We're about to get started. If we could have this morning's speakers, please.
Good morning. We have 4 public speakers registered to speak today. As a reminder, we ask all public speakers adhere to the MTA's rules of conduct and decorum. I would also like to remind all of our public speakers that in the interest of time and fairness to all, please limit your remarks to 2 minutes. Please be aware that there will also be a warning beep at 30 seconds, which will allow you to conclude your remarks. The first speaker for today will be Wendy Smith, followed by Naomi Herson-Ringskog.
Once again put on record that our ferry was canceled this summer with no notice, and some of us were working on reforming the ferry. We have over 1,000 new units of housing coming to
9? Oh. Yeah, Wendy, we can't hear you.
Oh,
There you go.
really? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. We have over 1,000 units of housing coming to the city of Newburgh in the next few years, first one opening this fall. We have more coming up and down the west side of the river. Governor Hochul has done wonderful things in the MTA in increasing train service on the east side of the river. We applaud that. But once again, it leaves the west side with little connectivity to the city and now no connectivity to the actual Metro North on the east side. So we implore the MTA and the governor to review this issue. The bus is not sufficient. It takes much longer. It can cost more per person. It adds to traffic and congestion. Please, as we get more people coming to the west side of the river, more housing being built, economic development, we need the ferry as a connectivity point. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker will be Naomi Herson-Ringskog, followed by Mr. X.
Good morning. My name is Naomi Herson-Ringskog. I'm also part of the Save the Ferry. We have a coalition of over 40 volunteers, as well as many hundreds that are signing the petition. So we are very excited to be here and interface with the board. We want to know that we are pro-economic development and pro-transit-oriented development, but the works that MTA and Hochul have done in the last couple of months have really alienated the west side of the Hudson River, especially the working class who have moved up to the Hudson Valley because of the ferry's existence, not because of the bus. The bus has now caused not a delay in traffic, but also increased the commuter time from 10 minutes with the ferry to now 30 minutes or more. Personally, anecdotally, I've noticed an increase of traffic on the Newburgh Beacon Bridge, and there's more articles coming in the Highland Currents that are talking about the frustrations of 9D, which has not only safety issues, but also traffic issues. So in the last meeting, I shared a lot about the issues of the ferry for economic development, environmental justice, and equity and access. But I have just 2 things to tell the board. One, I invite Justin and fellow board members to come to Newburgh to do a site visit, to see the 4 momentum grants, as well as the other oncoming housing that's coming to the west side. This is important for improving the quality of life. The second is I'd love to understand how we can change the Beacon train station to be Newburgh Beacon train station. Why? Part of the fault of the Newburgh Beacon ferry was that nobody knew about it. There was very little advertisement, marketing, and wayfinding. And this is something that our group had been interested in working with the MTA on improving. So now you can make a small difference as you evaluate.
Please conclude your remarks.
So those are the 2 things. Please reach out to Naomi or Wendy at savetheferry.hv@gmail.com to schedule a visit.
Thank you. Our next public speaker will be Mr. X, followed by Jason Anthony.
Metro North Railroad, please extend the Poughkeepsie and New Haven lines to all points above the northern terminals and put Scamtrack out of business once and for all. We don't need Scamtrack. It's more expensive than Strayhound, Peter Scam, Bonanza, etc. What has Scamtrack done for us over the years? Remember that song, What Have You Done For Me Lately, like Janet Jackson? Yo, that's how I'm treating Scamtrack. Okay, Long Island Railroad, Jamaica Station. Whenever the men's room is inactive, I have to go upstairs to the fake A train. I find that disenfranchising. And also, New Year's Day, within the last 4 years, I headed for the Barclays Center. I couldn't use the bathroom there. After staying online to watch before watching the ball drop for several hours without a bathroom break, and I was told head over to Penn Station, which is pretty far from the Barclays Center. Okay, there's no reason why trains can't serve the Barclays Center at all times. They did it one time. But for your competitors, if I'm at Barclays Center Station and your competitors tell me I should have the Penn Station, regardless if I can hold it in much longer, it's outrageous. Okay, you need to leave the bathrooms open all night on December 31 and January 1. That's why I don't have to break it down and give it a sucker like a Generation X. You understand what I'm saying?
Our next public speaker will be Jason Anthony, followed by Christopher Greif.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Anthony, the Transit Guru. For those who are, let's say, wanting the New Beacon ferry service back, I would strongly suggest to speak to New Jersey Transit Corporation because I've been doing the same for many years, but they're like deaf ears because Metro North is providing as much service as they can, but New Jersey Transit controls what is the west of Hudson. But I strongly suggest that you guys do the same because I cannot be the only New Yorker that advocates for all New Yorkers as equal because we have Justin here and Catherine Rinaldi has done the same for 20 years, but we cannot have New Jersey Transit Corporation neglecting all New Yorkers that use the Pascagoula Valley line and the Port Jervis line, that the service is declining throughout the years. And even, let's say, an honorable person, Orrin Getz, that has gone to their board meetings every month and complaining the poor service that they provide to those on the west side of the Hudson. But regarding Long Island Railroad, I cannot complain nothing negative about it, only to increase service on the Atlantic branch when there's service disruptions on the Penn Station side and Grand Central side, provide service to Brooklyn, and provide more frequent service at least to the mainline branches to Atlanta Terminal Brooklyn when there's events there at Atlanta Terminal Brooklyn. So that's all I have to say for this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next public speaker will be Christopher Greif, followed by Benji Ross.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Christopher D. Greif. First, I want to thank our chief for MTA Police because Saturday, as I was heading home from a good event in Flushing, I loved seeing the MTA Police and NYPD, as I will say it at the other committee, clearing out cars off the bus stops because it wasn't easy for not just my mother, but anyone else who was a senior or disabled who coming off the bus who want to go up to the railroad and get help, not just to get off safely. And I was really glad to see MTA Police and NYPD working together, getting them off the streets, and but also trying to get onto the railroad area where the entrance to a wheelchair walker can get. So I want to thank you, Chief, on that. And I did thank your sergeant there, but I don't know if he heard me, but I know he's going to hear me now saying it here. But as you know, we're coming up to the winter seasons, and you know, homeless is going to increase a lot more. And you know, they like to start up with not just fighting, but causing fires and stuff. We need to work together for the future because we shouldn't see them at any places. We understand they need help. But at the same time, we need to work on the future of safety and remind them that this is not a place to hang out. And I hope our city and state hear this, that they need to come down and help the homeless because if we understand they don't feel well, sometimes they're not well. I understand that. As a fellow disability, you know, it's not easy, but we do got to work on helping them. There's always another hidden disabilities, and it can pop up. All I'm saying is safety is the first thing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Our next public speaker will be Benji Ross, followed by Iris Kelly.
Good morning, Joint Committee. I am Benji Ross, intern at the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA, PCAC. Increased ridership on both railroads continues to be driven by off-peak ridership outpacing traditional commutation travel. Special event-driven increases from events like the Ryder Cup, shows at MSG, and Mets games have shown that riders are happy to dodge mind-numbing traffic and know what we do. It's easier to take the train to the game or the show. Soon, it'll be even more cost-effective when the age of eligible family fare riders increases to 17 from 12. This PCAC proposal, set to take effect in January, makes hopping on board a no-brainer for families. We're also excited to see Metro North's Hudson Line expanding 80 miles north to Albany, thanks to Governor Hochul for spearheading this creative approach to dealing with the East River Tunnel work and rising cost of travel. This Super Express trains to Poughkeepsie are another great challenge well met. It's also great to see the temporary doors finally coming down at Grand Central Madison, broadening ticket options for another growing pot of riders, those traveling within New York City, will open even more doors for New Yorkers in subway deserts and grow revenue. Let's pilot a city ticket weekly with free transfers to subway and buses to encourage more ridership across the system. Our commuter council members were pleased to join LIRR staff for a tour of new Help Point locations that help travelers with accessibility needs to get assistance. Next, let's make Mets Willets Point accessible so that everyone can get to the Mets or a great concert. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Our next public speaker will be Iris Kelly, followed by Andy Pollock.
Hello. My concern here about the railroad is that the connecting points between Manhattan and Brooklyn at night is my main concern. It shouldn't have to be where I climb up track went from 1 and 2 up and over, take a long walk down the bridge down to get to tracks 11 and 12 to get my Brooklyn train to go home. It was never like that in the past 2 years. It was always convenient where I get off tracks 1 or 2, my train would be right across the platform track 3. It was no problem. I would know riding Brooklyn going towards Manhattan. I would see my train coming along parallel with me to get off. I know me and off and get my train right there. It's very convenient. But no, you inconvenience people, very tired, very weak, and then not able to wake to the end. In fact, it can be very tired, very exhausting, wearing out. Just make the damn transfer. It shouldn't be that way. It should be very convenient for people to make their connecting points not far away. I bet you don't take the train. You try it some night to see what it's like. Trying to get from tracks 1 to 2 all the way down and far away to get to your train. You know what it feels like. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next public speaker will be Andy Pollock, followed by Alita Dupree, who is our final speaker.
Good morning, everyone. Andy Pollock from Passengers United. So 2 things we're going to discuss very briefly. First up, regarding the Babylon branch track work, it was literally a close call last night at Madison Square Garden as Sabrina Carpenter was performing. But the good news is Sabrina wrapped up her show at 10:15 last night with the espresso finale, and everybody was able to make the Babylon trains that were scheduled at 10:30, 10:35, and 10:45 as she wrapped up her show at 10:15 last night, given that the Babylon branch had track work this weekend and it was only running hourly. Now, the main reason why I wanted to talk to you all today was regarding this upcoming weekend, November 1st and November 2nd. Specifically, this weekend coming up will be the New York City Marathon. And I want to know specifically who thought it was a great idea for trains to be skipping Hollis and Queens Village on Sunday. It's bad enough that the runners are going to be running 24 miles. Think about how long a marathon is. 24 miles. They're going to be tired. They're going to be exhausted. And there's, of course, going to be spectators that will be coming from Hollis and Queens Village on Sunday. You mean to tell me that you guys thought this was the appropriate weekend to do the track work on November 2nd? So please consider rescheduling this because, again, imagine being in their shoes, being exhausted, being tired after running for so many hours, competing in the marathon. So that's all I'm going to say, and I'll speak to you all again in November.
Thank you. Our final speaker is Alita Dupree.
Thank you. Good morning to the chairs of the Joint Committee. Alita Dupree, for the record, she and her team folds. There's a lot going on. I'm looking forward to this proposed Albany service. It's long overdue. I'll definitely use it. And not just because of the cost, but also this will bring back the great tradition of intercity service in and out of Grand Central Terminal. So I have some old Grand Central Terminal here with the old track number signs. Amtrak used to go into track 23 in that area. And that went away. But I used the service back in the days when it went in and out of Grand Central. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this will be like, what our coaches will be like on this long service. Maybe it'll be kind of like Capitol Corridor, which is in California. Capitol Corridor is administratively managed by BART, which has the unique distinction of being the people system, and they have meetings. Moving on to other things, I'm looking forward to us getting the new locomotives. We have, I think, at least one right now. So we're using electricity on our third rail territory. Very good work. Lots of good reasons for that. And as we move forward with fare policy, I hope we'll get tap to ride on the railroads. If we can get tap to ride on the railroads, we can have fare capping. This means you no longer have to decide whether to buy passes, kind of like Omni. So I look forward to hearing what you have to say today. You can never have enough Grand Central Terminal. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public remarks.
Thank you to this morning's speakers. Ms. Dupree, the next time you participate in public comments, if you could tell us what Team Folds means, I'm interested to know what that is about. In any case, this month, Metro North takes the lead. In your books, you have the Key Performance Metrics Report, and we're moving on to the approval of the meeting minutes for September 29th. All of you have had an opportunity to review. Are there any corrections or omissions? Given none, if not, I move to approve the minutes. Second? Thank you, Sammy. All in favor? Minutes are approved. Chair, are there any changes to the work plan? Excuse me. Are there any changes to the work plan, Justin?
No changes for Metro North.
No changes.
We will now hear the president's reports for both railroads. Justin will go first.
All right, good morning. Excuse me. I'm happy to report that Metro North's reliability and ridership remain strong. Both September and our year-to-date on-time performance through September are at 97.9%. With the return of autumn season and falling leaves, our laser train is out and running daily. We continue to see great success with the laser train, and so far this year, we have seen minimal issues, and OTP for the month of October is 98.7%. We plan to keep this going for the remainder of the season. Regarding ridership, Metro-North served 6.3 million customers in September, an 8.2% increase from last year and a new record of 87.5% of our pre-pandemic ridership. Our average weekday ridership was almost 239,000 riders this September, nearly 7% higher than last year. We're seeing a higher portion of our riders purchasing commutation tickets, now at 40% of our average daily ridership. Our popular Leaf Peeper trains continue to attract thousands of riders each weekend to the fall beauty of the Hudson Valley. Just last weekend, we set a new average weekend ridership record of nearly 141,000 customers each day on the Hudson. Due to increased demand, we added an extra round-trip train this past weekend. And to briefly update you on the status of the Charger locomotives, 4 have been fully accepted and are in revenue service, while 3 are on property and undergoing testing and acceptance testing. So as we look to the holiday season, we will operate shopper specials on the New Haven line. From Saturday, November 29th through Saturday, January 3rd, we will run 4 extra inbound trains during the morning and early afternoon hours, and 4 extra outbound trains later in the afternoon. On Sundays, from November 30th through January 4th, we will run 2 extra trains inbound during the morning to early afternoon hours and 2 extra outbound trains in the afternoon. Moving on to safety. The 12-month period ending August 2025 remained strong. The reportable customer injury rate was essentially flat from the prior year. The reportable employee lost time injury rate improved by over 10% versus the previous year. We are helping achieve these results through strong collaboration with our labor partners, addressing the true root causes of issues, and developing corrective actions that either eliminate or mitigate the issue. And we're going to Albany. So at Governor Hochul's request, we're working with Amtrak to begin operating a Metro-North round-trip train between Grand Central and Albany beginning early next spring. This is due to the capacity loss as part of Amtrak's East River Tunnel project. Amtrak canceled 2 round trips and combined a third in New York State-supported Empire service to Albany. Metro-North is in full planning and implementation mode to begin operating a round trip to Albany this spring. This new service will be an extension of an existing Hudson Line Poughkeepsie train. We look forward to the opportunity to provide safe, reliable train service to upstate New York. And we'll provide more details on the new service as we get closer to the implementation. And we recently celebrated the completion of Phase 1 of the Park Avenue Viaduct Rehabilitation Project. The Park Avenue Viaduct, more than a century old, carries every train serving Grand Central Terminal, 98% of all Metro-North mainline service. It is indispensable to our operations, supporting almost 700 weekday trains and serving as a critical link in the region's transportation network. Through extraordinary project planning and innovative engineering techniques, Phase 1 of the project was completed well ahead of schedule and under budget. This achievement is the result of a collaborative effort between MTA C&D and Metro-North to advance the project while more efficiently, quickly, and cost-effectively, which was unnoticeable to Metro-North's 200,000 plus daily riders. This was truly a team effort. Great work by all involved. For nearly 25 years, our legacy ticket vending machines have been the backbone of fare payment, maintaining 97% availability and generating about 30% of all ticket sales. Given the urgency of the need to replace our aging TVMs and ticket office machines, Metro-North and Long Island Railroad pivoted to launch a new contract with Scheitenbachmann. Moving on from concept to implementation in just over a year, this has been an extraordinary achievement. New features for customers will include new ticket layouts with QR codes, the ability to receive change in both cash and coins, as well as improved visual displays and lighting. 5 pilot machines launched in September at White Plains, North White Plains, Rye, Peekskill, and the lower level of Grand Central Terminal, and have sold thousands of tickets in the first 6 weeks. Full installation began in mid-October with a scheduled completion of mid-2026, bringing 248 new TVMs to all Metro-North stations. This project also includes 37 new ticket office machines, which are scheduled for deployment in 2026. This success was driven by strong collaboration across Metro-North, Long Island Railroad, MTA IT, MTA Finance, MTA C&D, and MTA headquarters, with crucial support from all of our employees and our longtime vendor, Scheitenbachmann. We've just wrapped up one of the most imaginative and memorable displays I've seen in Grand Central Terminal. Between October 6th and the 19th, Grand Central Terminal and its adjacent subway stations were completely cleared of advertising and replaced with art. Excuse me. More than 150 digital screens, normally reserved for commercial advertising and MTA public announcements, were unified to showcase thousands of portraits and stories from artist Brandon Stanton's Humans of New York archive. The event was coordinated through MTA Strategic Initiatives Commercial Ventures Team, MTA Real Estate, and Metro-North Stations Department, and it brought unparalleled publicity and crowds to the terminal to visit our main concourse in Vanderbilt Hall. Also in a first, a grand piano was positioned in the main concourse adjacent to the world-famous information booth and clock, and students and alumni of Juilliard School played concerts every hour between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the entire run of the show. And even Lin-Manuel Miranda took a turn at the keyboard, filling the hall with his renditions on a Wednesday morning. The acoustics were perfect, and the sound effects within the main concourse were just magical. The unique partnership between Dear New York, MTA, and Metro-North was a tremendous success, bringing joy and wonder to thousands of visitors to the crown jewel of the MTA. And this year, on Saturday, October 4th, we held our open house at the New Haven CCO shop. You could see in the photos the joy, wonder, and excitement of some of the 2,600 people who attended, including Metro-North employees, retirees, and the public at large, and of course, my two girls there. Talking with people at the event, we found attendees from Ohio, Missouri, and Georgia who planned a trip to the Northeast just around this open house. Metro-North partnered with Connecticut DOT and the Danbury Rail Museum on the facilities and displays, and it was a tremendous success. Metro-North had nearly 100 volunteers who came together to create something meaningful for others. We had mechanical demonstrations of how trains worked, safety exhibits, virtual reality sessions, trivia games, and several of our heritage fleet locomotives were on display. We also had new Siemens Charger locomotive, whose cab was open for tours, and there was lots of selfies taken in the engineer's seat. And we even had the famous laser train, freshly in from its duties the night before, zapping leaves from the rails. What you could also see was lots and lots of smiles from open till close. For the volunteers and the attendees both, the common denominator was joy and appreciation. Special thanks goes to Jenny Brown for her leadership and organization throughout the planning and execution of the event, and we're already planning on next year. And the President's and Team Excellence Award ceremony was held last Wednesday, and it's always one of my favorite events. It gives us an opportunity to honor our employees who perform at an exceptionally high level. This year, the President's Awards went to Thomas Dellabella, Jada Hargraves, and Jonathan Lee. The two Team Excellence Awards were also given out to the Park Avenue Viaduct Intertrack Containment Team and On-Track Safety Immersive Team. This year, we instituted the Metro-North One Pillar Awards, one for each of the 6 pillars of Metro-North One. And we also new this year was the One Team Award to recognize employees from other MTA agencies who are exemplary team players. In the first year of the awards, it went to Inspector Chuck Piscinelli from MTA P&D and Mike Louie from MTA Customer Information Department. Congratulations to all this year's award winners. Our employees were also recognized at 2 other award ceremonies this month. On Tuesday, October 14th, I was honored to attend the MTA Latinos and Friends Awards ceremony where 2 of our employees were honored. And later that week, 12 Metro-North employees were recognized at the MTA Employee Accessibility Awards. And finally, I'm so proud to announce that our Chief Administration Officer, Yvonne Hill Donald, has been named a 2025 honoree for the Women in Rail Award by Railway Age, just one of 25 in the industry. This recognition highlights Yvonne's exceptional leadership and a contribution in the rail industry. I cannot think of a better recipient of this award. Please join me in congratulating Yvonne on this. That concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Any questions? Yes, Neil.
Thank you. Justin, my recollection in years past, maybe pre-COVID, was that our on-time performance was in the mid-90s%, like 94, 95. And when I see 98, 97.9, whatever the number is, that in the world of you're operating in, that's a marked difference. That's not a small change, 3 or 4 percentage points. Could you give us just the highlights of what has changed in our behavior? And I add this because before I joined this board, I guess it's 3 predecessors ago for you, he was, in retrospect, denigrated for overweighting on-time performance over safety, which was a contributor, if not certainly not the only reason, but a contributor to Spite and Dival's crash now in 2013. So just as a high level, could you just give us a sense what you mark to the success of on-time performance, which is, I assume, not at the cost of safety for this change over my recollections?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, I would say a railroad that's on time is a safe railroad, right? We're not measuring the metric, we're measuring and managing the operation, right? So every day we've reviewed the delays, figure out what's going on, and then the metric falls where it falls. We're not looking at these as if we need to figure out how to resolve a couple delayed trains because it's going to move the metric, right? We're just looking at overall as an operation and how are we managing the operation day in and day out. It's the same way we manage safety. It's the same way we manage the operation. It's the same way we measure mechanical failures. It's across the board. It's really just how we're managing it, and then the measure falls again where it will.
Any other questions? Yes, Randy.
I just want to give a shout out. The open house was fantastic. My grandson had a great time there, and everybody I saw was smiling. So typically, as you always have done the open houses, just keep it up. Thank you.
Midori.
Thank you. So, Justin, really appreciate your presentation today. Specifically, I want to shout out Yvonne here. Yvonne and I got to meet each other, I think, when I first joined the MTA in 2018. And I was younger then. And Yvonne, you have always been a person that championed people, even when they were new, even when you didn't know them, and really appreciate the relationship we were able to develop to learn more about Metro North, get Metro North over many difficult challenges. So really appreciate and excited for you to be honored across the nation for your leadership. And it's impressive because, you're not in the signal rooms, you're not, in the power lines, you're in administration, something that sometimes gets really overlooked. And so, but people are what make everything happen. So Yvonne, really, really excited for you and excited for us that we're able to have your leadership. Thank you.
Melba.
Sure. I was actually going to wait till after full performance reports, but I just want to piggyback on Mark's comment about on-time performance and reliability. Neil. I'm so sorry, Neil. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's great, right? That guy. But I'm really interested in unpacking that a little bit, especially as we go into the winter months for both Long Island Railroad and Metro North. We go into winter months and it's getting colder, and I really appreciate looking through the reports and seeing the improvement in on time and reliability. But I'm really interested in what you talked about operations. I'm really interested in understanding sort of what in the operations can be improved better. Is it staffing? Is it infrastructure? Like, where are you seeing sort of the gaps as we look at, how to make it better as we move forward?
Yeah, I think for us, one of the challenges is the age of the rolling stock, and with the new 5-year capital program, there's going to be a lot of focus on that. We have a lot of new equipment coming on board. We have the chargers, which I mentioned. We have the new battery-powered dual locomotives, which will arrive in 27. We have the M9A, so there's a lot of new equipment that's going to resolve a lot of our issues. The team's done a tremendous job addressing the challenges with the aging rolling stock. Something we've really focused on, and you kind of see it in the MDBF numbers. It's really figuring out what the issue is before it's about to be dispatched out of the yard. I think in the past we kind of put things out there, and I think now we're doing a much better job prior to dispatching it to identify an issue, so that way we could swap the equipment and put something on the road that's actually going to be reliable. Where in the past we might have just put something out there, done a quick patch, which we're not doing that now. So the team's done a tremendous job with that. So I think that's probably one of our biggest focuses, and again, the 5-year capital program helps address a lot of those issues.
And I'll just want to tell, I'll tell that guy, Mark, to stop stealing your good ideas, Neil. All right. Sorry.
Sammy.
Bastard. Hate that Mark.
Calm down, Mark. Justin, great report. I just want to flag that if the on-time performance goes above 100%, we're going to be suspicious. because Mark said I was a numbers guy this morning, so that's taking on responsibility. And I just want to remark that although I was able to cruise through, I for the Humans of New York book campaign, which was phenomenal. It's just amazing what can be done, and I've noticed, like, just, you know, especially now that I travel a lot more through Grand Central with the, you know, because it gets me in and out of the island. Just the level of you know, collaboration that has been able to be made in that space just continues to get better and better. And I heard a rumor that Lin-Manuel Miranda might come to celebrate Avon today because of the rail. So everyone should sit tight and stay for the rest of the meeting, especially you, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark. Actual Mark. Oh.
Jimmy?
Thank you. So next month, can you give us an update on the buses in Newburgh? All right, we've talked about this. It's my first day here, and I haven't got any feedback on where we are with coordinating with the state. Right, I'd appreciate that. And also, last month or the month before, I asked for a list of what assets we have on west of the Hudson compared to what's New Jersey's and what's ours. And I'm still waiting for that. Thank you.
Okay, we'll get that for you.
Just one quick question, Justin. With respect to the new vending machines that were installed, how were those stations selected?
They were selected by the number of customers as well as ease of testing out for a pilot.
Thank you. Moving on to Rob Free's report.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. Ridership on the Long Island Railroad absolutely exploded last month. If you may recall, we went over the numerous records we experienced due in part to the Ryder Cup. But the ridership, I have to say, is absolutely truly amazing, and there are more records. For the month of September, we accommodated 7.4 million customers for the month, which is a post-pandemic record, and it also represents 98% of September of 2019 ridership, so the highest percentage of 2019 ridership we experienced in September. And Grand Central Madison saw a significant increase in ridership as well. For the month of September, based on loadway, we accommodated 1,780,389 customers. And even more impressive is that this number, for the AM peak period, we talked about 60-40 when we first opened up Grand Central Madison. That was what we anticipated. For the month of September, for the first time for the whole month, we achieved a 58-42 split with Penn Station and Grand Central Madison. So 58% of AM peak riders went to Penn Station and 42% went to Grand Central Madison. So that's great as well. And you know, when we talk about the ridership numbers, you know, yes, Ryder Cup did help our numbers, but these following numbers are also telling us a story where people are coming back. They're going back to the office. For September, monthly ticket ridership, we increased 16.7% over September of last year. And comparing August to September of this year, we increased 23.6%. So people are coming back and they are using our service. And you know, I've said it before, you don't have these great ridership numbers if you're not providing excellent service, and that's exactly what we're doing thanks to the incredible work of our employees. And performance has remained strong as well. For the month of September, we achieved a 95.6% on-time performance, total on-time performance, and year-to-date we're at 96.3% on-time performance. The rest of the performance numbers will be in the book as well. And I mentioned last month as well that we'll provide a brief presentation on, you know, some of the roadblocks of achieving these incredible numbers. We support 5 event venues, and 3 of those locations are main track locations. I can't begin to tell you how difficult it is to provide service, especially during peak periods, the PM peak rush hour, and still attain these numbers. So Paul, Senior Vice President of Operations, Paul Dietland, will give a presentation on that. Okay. Next slide. All right. Safety for the 12-month period ending in September of 2025, we experienced a 20% reduction in customer injuries and a 12% reduction in employee injuries for the same period. The rest of the numbers are in the book as well. Working closely with our partners at Construction and Development, the 128-year-old Webster Avenue Bridge in Manhasset was replaced. The original structure was built in 1897 and in need of replacement. Now in its place is a new, modern, climate-resilient bridge featuring new retaining walls and drainage improvements, a new roadway, and sidewalks. You can see by the picture what it looked like previously. This is a real testament to the work and the partnership with construction and development and showing the investments that we're making in Long Island, especially Nassau County. And the best part is the project was completed on budget and 4 months ahead of schedule. Great job by our crews and our partners at construction and development. As we constantly work to modernize our core systems and keep our system in a state of good repair. Mark, was it something I said? We are updating our signal system at Divide Interlochen, which is located in Hicksville. This modernization effort will allow the signal system at Divide to accommodate new infrastructure, which will eventually provide increased capacity through the Hicksville area. Now, this is a critical point in our operation. It's where the main line around Ronkonkoma branch and the Port Jefferson branch intersect. So it's vital to be able to get parallel movements through that Interlochen. So on the weekend of November 8th and 9th, we will perform the signal upgrade, which will require shutdown of train service through the Hicksville area. Bus service will be provided, and stations Farmingdale to Ronkonkoma will have trains routed to the South Shore. We encourage customers to use our South Shore branches. Please visit our website for further details regarding the project information and for service information, in addition to checking the train time app for the most up-to-date schedule information. And that concludes my remarks, and I'll answer any questions you may have before I turn it over to Paul.
Any questions? Yes, Melba.
Thank you for that, Rob. I'm really interested in hearing more about the special events. And I think, the ridership numbers have been phenomenal. And I think the complexity of the operations have been really impressive. I didn't realize how many special event venues sort of service the main line of Long Island Railroad, so that's great. Not to addition the special events like the Riders' Cup. But I wouldn't be a good board member if I didn't ask about expenses. And, I'm really interested if there's been an analysis or an understanding to see if the ridership has sort of even the cost of longer load times, more staffing of the special events. How is the expenses evening out with the ridership?
Well, I guess kind of that's two different things, the expenses and then the dwell time I think you were talking about. Yeah, I mean, Forest Hills, as you can see, September dipped a little bit this year compared to last year, and that was due in large part to the Forest Hills events. It's a significant event venue. They're increasing every year. The ridership, we're getting large percentages of the gates there, and this is in the middle of us doing construction of Forest Hills as well, right? We're upgrading the accessibility, putting in new accessibility improvements at that location. So the platforms are under construction, and yet we're still achieving these numbers. In terms of expenses, our fare box revenue is, I think, year to date, we're at 12.9%. Forgive me on the numbers. I have to look at it. 12.9 million ahead of budget forecast. I'd have to bear with me on that. I'll have to check that. But yeah, the ridership is definitely equating into, and we changed our projections for ridership as well. If you remember, there was projections as far as return to ridership for pre-COVID, and we're surpassing that. So we updated our ridership projections for this year, and we're still achieving those numbers, even though with the mid-year forecast, we increased those projections. So we're really on target to have a great year in terms of ridership.
Yeah, I'd just really be interested if there's any analysis you can do between this, specifically around the special events and the projected expenses and how that's affecting revenue. Yeah, thank you.
Midori.
On that again, can you remind me, Rob, when we deploy additional staff to support crowding and all of that, does the event or the venue chip in as it relates to like easier egress to the event? I remember at some point folks were talking about that.
No, it's on the Long Island Railroad to support that because it has such big impacts on the customer experience. So we fully support that. Depending, there's a caveat to that. With the Ryder Cup, they did help with absorb some of those costs as well. So, but when you get your concerts at UBS, Madison Square Garden, it's not directly related to the Long Island Railroad. We're just bringing customers to those things, and it's important to have that staffing there again. for safety reasons and for the customer
Completely
experience.
agree. But you know, these folks also these venues really benefit from the like less traffic, better access to the event. So maybe that is an area we can explore further. Appreciate the Riders Cup reference because they did pitch in, so it's good to hear.
It's a good point, but I think there is a mutual benefit as well. We get increased ridership and increased revenue from that as well, so it helps us.
Yeah, but I still think there's an opportunity for us. I'm just thinking about, right, the with UBS and the station there, thinking about what might happen at Willard's Point, right? I think there's an opportunity for us to advocate for some sort of cost sharing when these venues are proposed for locations near Long Island Railroad stations.
Esteemed Co-Chair Herbst.
Thank you. This is the one and original Mark on the count board here. Rob, just a couple items. Number one, your remarks regarding the Grand Central Madison split. I remember hearing the 40%. Can you verify you indeed have exceeded that? Because a lot of people, the naysayers, were saying we would never do that. So that has happened?
Yeah, we're regularly at 60-40. It's a regular event, and the 58-42 is becoming a more common theme as well. And as I said, for the first time, for the whole month, that is. This is for the AM peak now.
Okay.
The off-peak is different. Ridership trends, they go more towards Penn Station because of Madison Square Garden. But for the AM peak period, 58-42 split is what we experienced for the whole month for the first time.
Right. So the anticipated expectation when this project came through has been realized.
Yes, like as I said, the 60-40 is regular, and now we're surpassing that as well. So we're going beyond that.
Okay, I also want to congratulate you on the Webster Avenue Bridge. That has been a sore point for a long, long time, and the bridges on the system have been frustrating because of the ownership issues. They're not always the MTA bridges. They're the local governments, the villages, and you did an excellent job, and the music to my ears is on time and ahead of schedule, so you can't do better than that, so thank you so much. One other thing I know is a priority for you. I'm sorry? Two. Okay. Sorry. One more. Do you mind? It's just, I'm not looking for an answer, but I know one of the top things that you were pushing for was the on-time performance through the Jamaica station and the scheduling. When do you look at having some type of report on that?
Well, we put it in the book regularly, and I didn't want to spike the ball yet, but for the first time, we achieved 70%, which was the goal for the AM peak period. We've been realizing it for the PM peak for quite some time now, but I would like to see if it's a trend first before I celebrate 1 month. But for the month, we did achieve a 70% on-time performance for the AM peak in Jamaica. So that's, the team is doing an incredible job, led by Paul and the various groups of, looking at our schedules, tweaking it, trying to find ways, parallel routing, as I mentioned. What can we do to optimize the schedules as well?
Okay, I don't want to jump on your announcements, anything in the future. I was just curious when that would take place, that's all. Thank you.
Jerry?
Okay, this may be a C&D question, but since Webster Avenue came up a couple of times in the conversation today, Sheep Pasture Road in Setauket, any word on when we might be doing something with that bridge? That, too, is about 120-something years old.
Well, as with this new capital program, the bridges are a big focus of us as, state of good repair in general. But it shows you the investments we've made, particularly in Nassau County. But we also have 3 bridges on the east end that'll be part of this capital program that are in the process of moving forward. Sheep Pasture Road, we're working closely with Suffolk County as that they received, or in the middle of receiving funding, a grant to perform that work. And we're communicating with them, and we'll support it in any way we can.
Jimmy?
Thank you. So I know you gave us some information at the briefing last week about the corruption case out in Long Island, all right? Is there anything additional since last week to today that you can add to that?
No, I mean, as we've said in the press and our releases, it's an extremely unfortunate incident that took place, something that, we don't accept, quite frankly. And I'm trying to control my emotions here as I speak because we're not happy about it, and quite frankly, we're angry. We took swift, decisive, strong actions against the employees, significant penalties. There are still about 6 employees who are going through the process. There is a process that we have to go through, and they will be facing discipline and up to and including termination. There's been financial impacts as well, and from a management perspective, we've looked at things that we can do and enhance oversight. So we've installed cameras, we reinstalled biometric clocks, we're doing unannounced audits all times of day, all days, to go and proactively look. Right. You can't just look at it just in terms of discipline. You have to take a holistic approach in addressing these type of situations. So education is a big piece. We have executive level staff attending new employee orientation, management or employee orientation, to remind them that that's one of their responsibilities, is to go out and look for these type of situations. You know, while unfortunate, we're collaborating with the labor organizations. I know that they are not happy about this either, but we've held roundtables with them to discuss the situation. And as I said, technology. We've reinstituted biometric clocks, and we're looking at other mechanisms as well. We've installed cameras at time clocks. We put more hardened access readers at gates. All those type of things, we're taking all these measures to try and minimize that. But we're going through the process, and you know, we will not tolerate it. We don't tolerate it.
Thank you. And like I stated last week, this is not just a union problem or a management problem. It's a corruption problem. And it's not just Long Island Railroad. I stated we had an incident a number of years ago when I was the police chief at Metro North, where we had 7 employees clocked in, then went to a different job, worked a full-time job, and then came back and clocked out. All right? Those 7, none of them were prosecuted. Okay? In this case, none of them, it seems, are going to be prosecuted criminally. All right? To me, that's a mistake. All right? These corruption cases don't go away. Sooner or later, somebody figures out a way to get around the system, and I'm glad the union is cooperating as they should. They don't want to have these people ruin the fine reputation of the 70,000 people that work here. All right? With this case is 30, 36. The last case I was involved in was 7. And meanwhile, we had 60,000 employees back then, and you had 7 people making the headlines. And we had 8 million New Yorkers looking at the MTA saying, what the heck is going on there? All right? So I'm extremely disappointed in the Suffolk County DA that he threw the IG's office under the bus and said that the IG's office did not give him enough information and enough evidence to prosecute. I have to see that to believe it. I have to see that. I know that the IG's office hires excellent retired police officers who know what they're doing, right? It's not good when a district attorney, especially in Suffolk County, refuses to prosecute. It makes the IG's office look bad, it makes all of us look bad, and it makes the 70,000 employees who are doing a fantastic job. A fantastic job. It makes the union have headaches they don't need, all right, especially during negotiations, right? But we should do everything we can to make sure that if something happens in the future, we prosecute. Because if you make bad decisions, there has to be consequences. Hey, politicians and police officers, and I'm both retired and soon to be retired politician, but if I get convicted of a felony, I can lose my pension. There's legislation there. We should fight for that for any public employee convicted of a felony loses their pension. That's where you get the leverage for them to resign, pay back the money they stole, freeze their end date, right? You've done some of that, right? And I commend you for that. You've done as much as you possibly can. And I do commend you for that. The union has done as much as they possibly can, all right? But it's not enough to prevent types of this corruption in the future. We need to do more. Thank you.
Thank you. I did want to add something else, and forgive me forgetting. I just want to make sure that in no way, because I cannot and I will not allow this to be a stain on the other 7,500 employees that work at the Long Island Railroad that do an absolutely incredible job, that show up every day, miss Thanksgiving dinners, miss events, work extra hours to provide the service that we do. We talked about the on-time performance numbers, the customer satisfaction numbers. Those are the employees that we want to keep and that we're proud of at the Long Island Railroad. So,
Thank you. Yes, Chris.
Thank you. I appreciate those comments coming from President Free. As the labor representative from the Long Island Railroad, I realize it's essential for us to understand the gravity of the findings of the IG. But at the same time, I want to recognize the hardworking employees that are integral, that do come to work to ensure that we have the performance and meet the needs of the riding public. These are individuals that are proud to work at the Long Island Railroad, and they are committed to the mission. And so I thank President Free for recognizing the hardworking employees that we do have, and we're committed to carry this agency forward. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chris. And now we move on to a presentation from Paul Dietlin on special events ridership.
Okay, thank you, and good morning. So I'll take a few moments here to talk about the service we provide to special events and the efforts we take to minimize the impacts to our operation. So as President Free noted, we are seeing significant ridership growth, and particularly in the non-commutation area. Clearly, we're not just a commuter railroad. As you can see from the chart, non-commutation ridership is up. Since 2023, we've seen a growth increase of 33%. To emphasize the point, in September we saw record ridership, and some of that was helped by attendance, at events, including the U.S. Open and the Ryder Cup. So as you know, we serve 5 major event venues: Citi Field, Barclays Center at Atlantic Terminal, Madison Square Garden, Forest Hill Stadium, and the USB Arena at Elmont. And of course, we also serve other major events at locations throughout or around the island when needed. We're uniquely positioned to provide service to the attendees for those events due to the territory through which we operate. And we provide a primary mode of transportation to over 600 major events each year, which is not insignificant to our operation. This is particularly true when this coincides with rush hour, usually in the PM peaks, which is the case most of the time. Our system is already running very high train volumes and tighter headways during the peak, so of course that requires us to do some additional planning. I'll also note that 3 of the stations, or 3 of the venues, have stations right on the main track, as Rob pointed out: Citi Field, at Mets Willets Point, USB Arena, and Forest Hills. And they're also very close to our terminals. A train can quickly become delayed from its normal schedule, waiting to load or unload, and the trains that follow behind may also be impacted. This is even more significant. Forest Hills, I think we're operating with now 4 car platforms, and Mets Willets Point has 8 car platforms. So our team works very closely with organizers of events to gain insight to each of the events. We find out when the doors are going to open, projected attendance. We even find information like ticket sales, zip codes, right, to help us plan the required service. Through the end of September, that's 273 days into this year, we've provided service to 448 events. While the number of events vary each month, there are many times we handle more than 1 event on a single day. As an example, we had 69 special events in August. 20 of those days had multiple events. And in fact, on Saturday, August 23rd, we had 5 major events in one day at the Garden, Citi Field, UBS, Barclays, and Forest Hills. So the special events add a source of complexity to the operation. As with our normal operations plans, we like consistency. Train schedules don't vary day by day, nor do the crew sizes. The lengths of our trains don't change, nor do the stops at specific stations. Our operation is successful because it's consistent. However, when service is required to be accommodating to these events, I cannot understate the difference between 50 or 100 people getting on at a regular train station versus 1,200 people who will want to get on a train at Metz-Willits Point just after Pete Alonso hits a walk-off home run. So we need to make sure trains can be loaded safely, we need to collect tickets, and we need to control passenger flow. How do we do this and adapt to make sure we minimize station dwell times and maintain high OTP? So we're no stranger to complex operations. It's a challenge, but we've developed an approach to manage these events while delivering safe and reliable operation, as well as a great customer experience. We've implemented gating. Nick, you want to change that slide, please? Yeah. Cruiser stations at platform entrances and exits to collect tickets. It's an extremely efficient way to manage the crowds, and we also make sure everyone pays their fare. We've already gated 810,000 passengers this year through September, so another 3 months to go to add on to those totals. Depending on the size and location of the event, we'll add station stops to existing trains to expand opportunities for riders to get to and from their desired stations, and we can also run relief or extra trains to accommodate high passenger volumes and minimize crowding. Some events actually even require more service, like the Ryder Cup. We have managers and staff, along with the support of MTA PD, out there to help keep the operation moving and passenger flow controlled. And even with the challenge of all the events, the results of our efforts can be seen here. Ridership is growing, fare collection rates are increasing, and we're able to keep the trains running as close as possible to schedule and delivering record on-time performance and enhancing customer satisfaction. Being able to plan for and support all these events is only possible thanks to the efforts of our dedicated labor partners and the entire workforce. That's all I have on special events. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Any questions? It's okay. Go for it. No problem.
Sorry. There were. Hello. Yeah. Sorry. On the slide, there's in addition to the 5 menu venues, it said 9 other events. I'm just curious.
There's other venues that we've served. For instance, we've served the FIFA. Not FIFA. Cricket this year. We've had cricket, Ryder Cup, and there's some Oyster Festival out in Oyster Bay. So there's different locations that we support service.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melba. Seeing that there are no more questions, we move on to Chief Taffy's MTA Police Report.
Good morning, committee members. I'm here to present the September 2025 Crime and Policing Report for the MTA Police Department, where we focus on Long Island Railroad and Metro North statistics. Major crime across the rail system remains low, with only 14 reported incidents in September 2025. This is down significantly from the 30 crimes in September of 2024. And I say this every time, it goes along with the increased ridership, so the rate itself of crime is actually even dramatically lower than that. This leads up to a 21% year-to-date decrease in crime across the two systems. Of the 14 reported incidents, only 8 of them actually involved commuters, with half related to unattended property theft. The remaining incidents involved thefts from vendors, the MTA, and its employees, as well as an assault on a police officer and an assault on a conductor. To further safeguard our riders and employees, we've continued to enhance our presence across the system. Officers are riding more trains, standing visibly at more stations, and responding proactively to conditions that affect the safety and quality of life. In September, officers conducted nearly 4,000 train patrols, contributing to a total of over 37,000 train patrols this year. They also performed more than 11,500 station and yard security inspections in September alone, reinforcing our layered approach to system security. The MTA Police Department remains steadfast in its commitment to supporting the commuter rail agencies through focused enforcement against fare evasion, disorderly conduct, and any other quality of life issues. In September, officers issued over 430 summonses, nearly half for fare evasion violations, underscoring our continued emphasis on system integrity and fairness. In closing, the MTA Police Department continues to adopt, innovate, and deploy resources strategically to maintain a safe, reliable transit environment. Our success is built on collaboration with the MTA leadership, agency partners, and the men and women of the department who serve with professionalism every day. Thank you for your time and support.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Taffy? Okay, thank you, Chief. Information items. Justin, can you walk us through information items for Metro North?
Sure. The 2026 preliminary budget's in the book and disposition of property at Terrytown Municipal Housing Authority.
Thank you, Justin. Rob?
Same thing, the preliminary budget, and as I mentioned, some of the track work programs, there's more detail as far as other programs in the book as well.
Thank you. Finance reports for both railroads are in the book. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yep. There are no procurements for either railroad, and now may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Thank you, Mark. Second by Midori. All in favor? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.